The Minister of State, Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Tanko Sununu, has raised concern over Nigerians' worsening humanitarian crisis, stating that more than 3 million people remain internally displaced as a result of flooding, insecurity, and other natural disasters. This is also as the minister warned that millions of citizens risk sliding deeper into hunger and malnutrition as global aid funding dwindles. Speaking during the inauguration of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee on Flood Management and Response, the minister said that the combined effect of natural disasters, insecurity, and shrinking donor support have created a critical humanitarian challenge for the country. According to United Nations estimates cited by the minister, over 24.8 million Nigerians have suffered some form of hunger, while more than 3 million people remain internally displaced as a result of flooding, insecurity, and other natural disasters. Poverty, the minister's stress, remains unevenly spread across the country, with the North accounting for about 65% of Nigeria's poor population. He also revealed that more than 5.9 million households, approximately 25 million Nigerians, have benefited from 419 billion in conditional cash transfers. The funds, he explained, are meant to cushion the impact of economic hardship and sustain vulnerable families. The minister commended the National Assembly for setting up a dedicated committee to oversee humanitarian interventions. He expressed optimism that the move would strengthen transparency and improve the delivery of aid to affected communities.
Today, we also mark a situation whereby globally funding is becoming short for humanitarian aid. In fact, the United Nations estimated that the funding gap today is $36 billion globally. And in Nigeria, we are also affected seriously. Just a few days ago, I had the Cost Address World Press Conference on the suspension of the activities of World Food Program, which affected almost 1,300,000 Nigerians who are receiving emergency food transfer from the World Food Program. And also it led to shutting down of about 150 clinics run by World Food Program in the Northeast, leaving us with over 300,000 children at risk of malnutrition, with over 200,000 receiving treatment for malnutrition. And the prediction that over 24,800,000 Nigerians had suffered a form of hunger is another challenge. Now, if we look at the impact and the consequences of flooding in the country, it really calls for a concern. It has displaced most of our farmland, displaced a lot of Nigerians. As of today, the count of internally displaced persons is almost over 3 million Nigerians. And this is not just a figure, it's a size of a country in Africa. Therefore, we must all rise to address the global challenges. And we quite believe that the proportion of contribution of internal displacement by flooding worsening our poverty status, most especially in the most.
Nigeria has been of the hardest hit countries by the global humanitarian funding squeeze. The United Nations recently warned that $84.7 billion humanitarian appeal for West and Central Africa is only 36% funded, forcing agencies like the WFP to cut rations across the region. Delivering a welcome address, the chairman of the newly constituted Rep Committee, Maidala Balami, said flooding had become more than a seasonal occurrence, describing it as a national emergency that demands urgent, coordinated, and strategic action.
As we are all aware, flood has become a recurrent and devastating challenge across many parts of our country. Each year, lives are lost, properties destroyed, livelihood disrupted, and the socioeconomic fabrics of the entire communities severely affected. This is no longer a seasonal inconvenience, it is a national emergency.
The committee chairman urged all stakeholders, including civil society, private sector, and international partners, to join effort in developing a sustainable national response to flooding and humanitarian emergencies. The lawmaker pledged that the committee would investigate root causes, assess agency preparedness, engage stakeholders, and propose lasting measures to mitigate the impact of flooding across Nigeria. Inaugurating a committee, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Rep. Abbas Tajuddin, who was represented by the Leader of the House, Professor Julius Ihumbere, charged members to provide both immediate and long-term solutions to Nigeria's recurring flood crisis.
This ritual we perform every year. It is time for it to stop, and I'm hoping that this committee will do that. Every government at the local and state level, they know the flood is coming. They know. And sometimes they are using it to fleece the federal government because the presidency gives them money. Ecological fund, there's flood coming, 3 billion. Not one thing is done. No shelters are constructed, and where they are constructed, they are abandoned for an entire year. By the time the flood comes, they are not habitable. And I think this must stop.
He said flooding has in recent years inflicted devastating losses on Nigerian communities, destroying livelihoods, displacing families, and undermining development efforts. The speaker stressed that the 10th House Representative remains committed to addressing matters that directly affect Nigerians, including natural disasters. He said the duty of lawmakers extends beyond lawmaking to anticipating challenges, strengthening institutions, and ensuring government responses meet the needs of citizens. He tasked the committee to identify gaps in Nigerians' preparedness and recommend a clear roadmap for national resilience against flooding. Abbas urged the committee to work closely with key agencies, including the National Emergency Management Agency (NEMA), the Ministries of Environment, Water Resources, Health, Works and Housing, as well as state and local governments. He also highlighted the role of the Nigerian Space Agency in providing satellite imagery for effective flood mapping. The speaker further directed the committee to pay special attention to legislative gaps hindering effective flood management. Where laws are weak, outdated, or insufficient, he said, the House stands ready to strengthen the legal framework to better protect Nigerians. Baba Sunday, Eagles FM News.